Hi, my name is Dr. Scott Young, and today we're going to talk about NESARA. You're worried about losing everything. Coming right up. Okay, I know a lot of people have asked these questions, so I've been looking through several areas. Silence Do Good, who has Family Man on Telegram, that you can check him out. You can check out my Telegram as well too if you're interested. It's at drscottyoung.com or Dr. Scott Young. So you can always find those kind of things. But I've asked some questions out there because I wanted to be able to answer some of these. Now we're at October 4th right now, so I wanted to kind of push these things out there as quick as we can here. So it does take a little time to get that stuff through. Okay, so I get this question all the time, like, should I take my money out of savings? Should I take my money out of my 401k? Should I, go to a safer thing? And I go, okay, first off, I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't play one on TV. But let me just kind of give you a couple things. If you're operating in fear, you need to calm down just a hair, okay? And trust Jesus about this stuff. And some of you go, well, I'm not a believer in Christ. Okay, well, maybe that's another problem that we need to kind of address if you want to. But here's the point. If you are scared about an issue of money that's happening, I could find a million situations in which you probably should be scared about it. But in the NESARA point, if you're going to go to what the elitists want to do with the Great Reset, they would wipe you out in a New York minute. But in the NESARA point, we're not going to see that kind of stuff. And it's the same thing with GESARA for each of the countries, okay? The reality is, if you have $1,000 in savings, $500 in savings or more, whatever that is, it's just going to flip over into the NESARA agreement or the rainbow currency. You're not going to notice the difference. Number two, if you have 401k, a simple IRA, it's just going to flip into that. Now, here's the thing that I get all the time. What happens when there's a crash? Now, here's the thing that we don't understand. When we think about this possibility of the red pill, this is when we see all of the sickness of this world right now. We're going to see that. Now, do we know that the NESARA agreement happens before or after this? Have no idea. That's chicken and the egg kind of conversation, okay? Wish I could tell you which one they're thinking about. Now, here's what's happening, what you think about. So let's say the corruption point happens first, and then you see the economy dip pretty hard, just like it did in March of 2020. And so we see the stock market crash because any little thing messes with the silliness of the stock market. And I was just doing a conversation that I'm going to be teaching on this Thursday here about free will and predestination. We're talking about the stock market, and I could show you about that one, but basically the point is that the stock market is really built in lie and in opinions than really built in truth, okay? A company could be up, but if they don't do the predictions correctly, even though they're up enough, the company will lose stock. I mean, they'll lose the amount of stock. It's just craziness that happens. So is your 401k safe? Well, let's say you have $100,000 in your 401k right now, and it drops in half at $50,000. Well, listen, Trump and the White Hats are not going to let you be stuck down there and completely destroy the economy. It'll see a V type of improvement. Excuse me. You'll see a V improvement that will kind of bring it back up. And the reason why would I say that? It's because Trump is an economist, okay? If you're worried about your money, calm it down just a little bit. Here's what happens, and I've been thinking a lot about this kind of area. You see, if you really pushed out NESARA as an idea, the markets would already start to freak out. See, we can bring out all the corruption, all the gross things, all the other things that are involved around us with the elite. That doesn't affect the markets. But if you say that there's going to be a money switchover going from the fiat currency that's going to be shoved off a cliff through the Fed and pushed into a gold-based standard, everyone in the markets would freak out. That's why none of the market people, I talk to them, and they have no clue that this is happening. Because if they did know, they would start to move monies around, and we don't want them to do that until the very last second. Because if they did, they would start to create a crash before it was ready. So here's the thing. If you want to move your money, you have every right to do whatever you feel like, okay? Am I moving my money? I'm not. I'm going to trust the Lord on this one, okay? And you might say, that's stupid. Do whatever you feel like, okay? I'm not going to sit there and tell you what to do. But let me ask you, which stocks do you think are more susceptible and less susceptible? Do you know how many fingers that the elites have in the stocks and the bonds that you have? Are you for sure about that? I have no idea. And most people couldn't tell you which ones that you'd have to get out of. You see, what's going to happen before NESARA and after, we're going to have to start looking at which stocks are actually going to go away. There is a stock right now, it's an interesting stock price, and the over-the-counter hearing aids, there's a company called Eargo. And Eargo was sitting at around $76 a share, but because they're getting massive investigations, because they have insurance fraud up the wazoo, they're probably sitting around anywhere from 6 to 12 bucks right now. Excuse me. 6 to 12 bucks. And you're going, why would they do that? The company hasn't lost money yet, but it's just the perception of that. And so how do you know which one would drop in that time frame? Here's what's going to happen is that financial planners are going to get some lists of companies that are going to go away. And so as those companies go away because they're really sick or they're propped up by the government, what's going to happen is that we're going to start seeing our stocks flip into different category points. So again, you don't know which one you would go to. Would you really go to a bond and a very safe thing? I don't know. Now, go to gold? Great. Go to silver? Great. But it's easy to understand that those could actually tank too in this crash point. But again, I believe we're going to see a V recovery on that. But again, that money's just going to flip right over. Now, the only thing that's not going to flip is the physical cash. Now, you're going to have a chance to be able to go down to the banks with your change in your drawer. When we have this big old change thing like this, right? And we had filled it up, and we always kind of guess how much money is in there. And we kind of give it to my son. I think I had like 95 bucks of change, right? And you might have things like that, or you might have physical cash in your refrigerator or whatever you do. And you're going to have to take that down, and you'll have 90 days. You'll have plenty enough time to flip that over. Now, there will also be other currencies that will have a flipping. The dinar, the dong, and the zim, several things like that. Now, we believe that the revaluation rate going from the fiat currency of those foreign currency might be anywhere from 50 cents to $1 on it. So it's possible that they're a little bit lower. It's possible a little higher. We don't exactly know, and we don't know the exact moment that it happens. But you're going to find out about that. Now, here's the thing that happens. Most of these trillionaires, you have no idea. Do you know that most of those people in Congress and Senate and all these other deep state places are really trillionaires? We're not talking about millionaires. We're talking about trillionaires. They have been stealing from us, not paying their own way through. They'll get the government to pay for something that they personally control. They're going to be wiped completely out. And what's going to happen is that money is a transfer mechanism to many of you. And you're going to find, wait a second, I have the control to be able to do some amazing things. And here's what we love about that. The white hats are so fascinating because I've talked to many of them. And one of the things that they keep coming up with is that we want humanity to help itself. We want these people. I mean, I talked with a guy that gets onto my YouTube channel and is a right side patriot. If you're out there, I'm talking to you, bud. See, he wants to take some of the money in, but he wants to give 99% of it away. That's exactly what he said to me. And I'm like, that's exactly what you want to have. He wants to be able to give it away in a really cool way. John Dowling, who's going to be on my channel again, he wants to set up some amazing things in the world. Okay, I've got other patriots that I know of who are looking to do some cool things for humanity, and so just calm it down just a hair, okay? It's going to work out. It's going to flip over and you're going to be fine for that. There might be bumpy times, but you know what? God never said you're going to have the easiest time in this world. It's not, I don't want to talk about utopian kind of conversations because it's going to be, even after this, there's going to be some levels of chaos. But calm your spirit, okay? Faith is the evidence of things hoped for and the promise of things unseen. So I thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it.